This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review season 1 of X-Men 97. Plus, Deadpool and Wolverine tickets go on sale. The Agatha show gets an official new title. Amazon announces a Roadhouse sequel and a live-action Spider-Man noir show. New trailers for Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, a Dune prequel show, and more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, May 20th, 2024.
Oh, hi, I didn't hear you come in. This is Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. Now, if somebody could please explain to me what a geek boner is, my life would be complete. Until then, rock on, nation.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we heard it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we heard it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up, listener? Thanks for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd. And we'll peep you next time.
No, we're going to peep you right now. You stay in your seat.
Damn it.
Jock.
Sometimes I get triggered by that.
You're just trying to leave the show early. Yeah. I know. You got important things to do. But we have geek stuff to talk about. Also joining us, the real reason for the Kendrick-Drake feud. It's Rug Boy. Rugs, what happened?
Man, that's a late call on that.
Yeah,
one.
isn't it over
That's
already?
been like
Did someone try and
I thought it happened
someone
last
shoot
week. I
or
was gonna
stab
use it.
somebody on the block of Drake or something?
I was going to use it
Something
last
happened?
week, but then I
You should have used it
something else.
last week.
But then I got something else. Listen,
Did something happen around Drake's house?
Yeah, I think someone got something happened, where Kendrick posted a picture of his house.
of Drake's house.
I think he put it in his Twitter or something. I don't know.
Listen,
Something.
I love it.
I wasn't completely... I caught up on it. I was a little behind on all of it.
See, some people may not have known. So now I'm educating our listener.
I don't think our audience knows. So you might have been got over.
Can I ask whose team are you on, Imran and Anthony?
With what little I know, Team Kendrick. I just talent-wise, I'm going to go Kendrick. Anthony, you pick a side.
Yeah, I mean, Drake has way more fun hits. Kendrick's a lot more talented. I would probably say Drake's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Kendrick probably. I'd probably lean Kendrick, but I like more Drake songs for what it's worth.
No, I get it. He's got a lot of hits. I've just never been a fan of the Drake. Something about him.
Yeah, me neither. I never liked Drake.
Last I read, Kendrick was winning that. But did you know what even prompted that?
Well, I read a couple of things. I watched a couple of things, and I believe it was actually because Drake used to had brought on Kendrick at one point on his tours, and then who started?
Maybe, yeah.
Kendrick.
There was a Drake and J. Cole song where J. Cole had a lyric and said that there's a big three in rap. It's J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick. And then Kendrick had a song that came out that said there's no big three. It's just Big Me.
Yes. And then at some point, 9 fucking songs come out. Total back and forth from each side. Now, look, there's a history of diss tracks in hip hop. I love a good.
This is a thing.
Yeah.
This happens all the feuds happen.
This is a big one. My favorite in recent times, Eminem, Machine Gun Kelly. Go look up their fucking diss tracks to each other. Fantastic. And of course, Ice Cube, No Vaseline, probably the greatest diss track in all of hip hop.
What's your favorite rap feud?
I know. I'm gonna go back to the Eminem MGK feud. That was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, that was some good shit. I mean, you gotta write poetry and make it fucking brutal and savage back and forth. It takes talent to write these diss tracks. What's your favorite? What are some other ones?
I mean, the Drake and Kendrick one is pretty fun just because they came out with so much content.
Yeah.
And in this era, they can release stuff so quickly and people can listen to it.
That's true.
I like Nas and Jay-Z. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Drake and Pusha T.
Well, Drake's had feuds with lots of people, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
If you want to go old school, you can go Eazy-E and Dr. Dre.
Yeah. Or, like I said, Ice Cube and the rest of NWA. But Eazy-E and Dr. Dre is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
There's been a bunch.
It's good. Rugs, you got any
50
favorites?
Cent and Ja Rule.
Oh,
50 Cent
geez.
destroyed Ja Rule.
Yeah. Oh,
Ended his
absolutely.
career. But here's the thing. If you get into a rap feud and you lose badly, it can end your career.
Yeah, I guess. You just got to give it time. I don't know if you can come back from that, even with time.
Isn't there like one going on between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj?
Oh, that sounds
I think
fun.
that's my favorite.
That's been.
You might see a titty pop out when they fight.
That's a fun one, too. I want to watch that.
That is fun.
Didn't they do a song together?
I don't know.
And then
the thing about the Drake Kendrick feud is they've done songs together. So is J. Cole with them. It was J. Cole was in it, and then he like dropped himself out of it.
I did always want to see Prince and Michael Jackson fight it out, but that never happened.
No, but what would they do? Slap each other with handkerchiefs?
I know, it would be hilarious. Would have been great.
I think Kendrick referenced Prince and Michael Jackson too in one of his diss tracks. He basically said he was the Prince compared to Drake and Michael Jackson.
Oh shit! All right, well, look, a good diss track will brighten your day. Go check it out, listener.
Where were you, a Prince or a Michael Jackson guy?
Oh, so I started a Michael Jackson guy in my youth, right in the 80s, and then when I got older in college, really became to respect Prince a lot. And realize that he's like maybe more talented than Michael in terms of musicianship.
Well, Prince had all the ladies and he could play guitar in high heels. So I think that wins.
I mean, he played 16 instruments. He would record every fucking instrument on the whole album.
Michael Jackson tried to pretend to be normal and married one of the Elvis Presley's daughter.
He went out with Brooke Shields. That's legit.
Yeah. But like Prince was like, I'm weird, and I'm still playing guitar and getting all the ladies. And that was that.
Yeah. Well, the all-time best feud in music history is the Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC.
Oh, was that a feud?
That was a feud.
They both suck.
What about O-Town?
No, you're the worst. They both were actually awesome. You suck.
Whatever. O-Town and 98 Degrees.
O-Town?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those were ancillary. They were never considered. I've seen Backstreet Boys live. They were awesome.
What about Color Me Bad versus Boys to Men? I don't know.
What about New Kids on the Block?
New Kids on the Block versus Menudo.
Boys to Men all the day over. New Kids on the Block were like the first boy band. I don't think they
got Wahlbergs in that thing.
Yeah,
they got two. They got the older one.
They'll knock you out, man. Look, this is not a music podcast. What are we here? We're here to talk about.
I don't know. We're just talking about boy bands now.
They're unimportant things.
Like,
because you made a dated reference.
Dated? It's a week old. It's not like I made a reference.
It's at least
from
2 or 3 weeks
a year ago. Come on, people, you catch up on this. It's pop culture. I know
that reference right away showed how old you are.
Yes, I was aware of said feud, and now I'm ready to talk about it.
You were like, I got him. I got a good one. I'm going to talk about something that happened 2 weeks ago.
I legit had this like earlier, but last week, and I came up with something else. Anyways, look, we have a lot to discuss, you fuckers. Let's get into it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Oh, we're going to review some X-Men and so many geek announcements and things to talk about. Let's start with this sort of breaking news just today, Monday, May 20th. Deadpool and Wolverine tickets on sale.
Oh, shit.
Now, get them now. I went to buy them, and there was already people buying them up, so it's probably going to fill up pretty fast. A full, 2 months out.
I'm already going to question this news placement.
Because it's going to be 2 days old by the time people hear this.
You're like announcing something, and it's going to be 2 days
well,
later.
You know what? It goes in line with the dated hip-hop reference.
There we go. All right.
So everything in this podcast will be a little bit late.
This is as quick as I can let people know 2 days later. When you hear this, you want to go try to buy tickets right away.
Okay.
Anyways, did you guys buy tickets yet? Get them.
Not yet, but I will.
I'm working on it.
Okay. They didn't really, usually they put out like a new trailer and stuff, which I was hoping, but they just put out these like short promo things with a little bit of new footage at the end, and one where they're like out of costume as Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman talking to each other. They're all right. No big trailer, but important tickets go on sale. What they did put out is they updated the synopsis, and it's kind of funny for the movie. The synopsis reads, Marvel Studios presents their most significant mistake to date, Deadpool and Wolverine. A listless Wade Wilson toils away in civilian life, his days as the morally flexible mercenary Deadpool behind him. When his homeworld faces an existential threat, Wade must reluctantly suit up, again, with an even more reluctantist? He must convince a reluctant Wolverine to fuck synopsises are so fucking stupid. And that's where it ends. So now they're swearing in the synopsis. This has gotten out of control. But I'm excited. There was another article. Ryan Reynolds was like, I'm surprised Disney let us go as hard R as we did. And he's excited that they get to do that. So, of course, excitement is high. That's it.
Very good.
You guys got anything? Buy Deadpool Wolverine tickets.
Yep.
Okay, you're 2 days late. Sorry.
I'm excited. Sure.
Okay. Okay, the rest of the stuff here is a bunch of announcements I picked out from this year's television upfronts, which is a thing where the TV networks, studios go present their wares to ad buyers so that the people can buy ads in these shows. And notable this year, for the first time, Amazon and Netflix showing up with big presentations because they have recently turned on ads in their streaming platforms. And,
yeah, 100%.
Right?
That's why they're also getting involved in sports, because now
Yes.
they're all about the ads.
Yeah, what'd you think about that Netflix they're getting football on Christmas Day, which is kind of crazy for Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix is if they get more involved in sports, people are going to be the networks are going to be really really sad.
Yeah, because each of these streamers is grabbing a piece of live sports. Like, there's different things on different platforms, I've noticed.
Yep.
When you go to them, it's kind of crazy. But before we get there, let's start with some of the Disney announcements. This one regarding a story you brought up last week, Anthony, the title of the Agatha show and how it has changed for the last year and a half, 2 years. Covenant Chaos, Darkhold Diaries, House of Harkness, The Lying Witch, and Great Wardrobe. Well, they have announced the official title and the premiere date. The title is Agatha All Along, and this thing premieres on Disney Plus September 18th with a 2-episode debut. But if you watch the little video that they put out, what do you notice in there, Anthony?
I didn't know I didn't notice anything.
All those titles are in this announcement trailer.
Yeah.
Meaning either they've been playing the long con and been trolling us for 2 years.
That's exactly what they're doing. You didn't get that?
I did, but do you think this was planned from the beginning, or at some point they're like, shit, we've changed the title so many times? Or did they change the title to keep people talking about it? It is kind of clever.
Yeah, they did exactly that.
So
I did. Oh yeah, I mean, I noticed that. Yeah, of course they announced all the
when they had changed it for the third time. You even said, "Are they doing this on purpose?"
Oh, I did. Yes. So yes, they. I mean, it's kind of clever, I guess, because it got us talking about it every single fucking time. And it was Agatha All Along messing up the title. I bet those are all episode titles. Probably.
I thought at first maybe they. I thought it was maybe the real thing, and then probably by the second or third change, they were like, "This is kind of stupid. Why don't we just run with this?"
See, I want to know if they intentionally from the beginning, if they did this from the beginning, it's fucking brilliant. But if they pivoted after the second time and let's make this a thing, it's also good, I guess.
It's better than what was going on, right? Like if it was called Agatha and the Great Wardrobe, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
We were all lambasting it last week. So,
I think the first one was kind of innocuous. The first change, wasn't it?
House of Harkness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, to Covenant Chaos.
It was House of Harkness and Covenant Chaos, then Darkhold Diaries, and then what we got, and then that Lying Witch, Great Wardrobe. Yeah, I think maybe they just pivoted and were like, "This is, why don't we just go with this?" And if they did, that's smart, because it's better than what they were doing.
I mean, it's smart. They got us talking about a show nobody asked for that I don't know who wants, but we're gonna watch it September. First 2 episodes.
I guess I have to watch it.
It was Agatha All Along, Rux. You're gonna have to watch it.
It was Agatha all along.
Moving on to Daredevil. They have given us their premiere date. Daredevil will be coming out March 2025. And Charlie Cox has said we have shot 9 episodes and they're done. So that whole 18 episodes thing, they may be splitting it up into 2 seasons, and which I guess is fine. I didn't really 18 episodes of a live action series in 1 season.
Apparently, this wasn't very connected to Netflix or the Netflix stuff, but now they are making it connected. I'm watching this interview with Charlie Cox, and boy, His hairline is clearly receding.
Oh, it's going back. They're going to need more money for special effects.
Wow.
Maybe just keep him in the suit more.
Might have to keep him. I just watching this now. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's doing the best he can to hide it.
Well,
but,
and he talks
he's
about
getting pretty thin up. He's starting to look like you.
Oh dear, that's not good. He's getting thin up there. He's talked about how like he's older and some of these stunts might be a little more tricky. He did a lot of it at the beginning, but
He's only 41.
well, but it's a very physical. It seems like a very physical role. I mean, I don't know how much he did or how much the stunt double does. Also,
That's too bad. I feel bad for him losing his hair like this. You know, you don't. It's a thing that happens to men. And
Charlie,
it's
look up
sad.
hymns for whatever that's called.
He might have to go to Turkey and get the transplant.
Oh,
You really think about doing
It's
that?
very cheap. Apparently, everyone's doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
but it
just take some hair from the back of your head and put it in the front.
No, it looks scary afterwards. You come out, it look like a bandaged, like fucking mummy or something.
You look fine.
It's fine. There's a new logo for Daredevil Born Again. It's nice, and there's also a logo for Ironheart that they say
He needs to cut his hair differently. I'm still looking at his
maybe like
hair.
a short buzz cut. I don't know what you do there.
He's
Like
gotta do something.
D'Onofrio, like how D'Onofrio's like he looks
He
good.
might have to.
You know, it's the short
Because
buzz.
he's got the poofiness on the sides and then no hair on top, which is you. What do you kind of do?
I mean, even in this still, his forehead, you can see how like it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
Like
too
it's
bad.
just pushed up. Look, man, happens.
Our heroes,
Even to
Well,
Daredevil.
even Daredevil. That's all I got on that.
Rugs.
When's it coming out?
That's coming out
I'm trying to see this interview
March
that he's talking about.
2025. 9
Just
episodes.
scroll down to the bottom of that link and watch him and Vince, and you'll
And
go,
D'Onofrio.
oh my god, his hair.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
you can.
Too
There's
bad.
lighting tricks. There's fix it in post. Wigs.
He needs to go with the textured fringe.
Oh,
That's what the
textured.
kids are going with.
What does that look like? It's like a little wavy.
Look, Google textured fringe.
Textured
it's when you
fringe.
take the hair in the front and you push it forward and you just grow it out.
Oh, I see that everywhere now.
All the kids are doing
Oh
that.
yeah, where it just goes forward. Yes. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I've seen this. That's that.
What?
And the sides are kind of shaved. I wish I could
Yeah,
do
yeah,
this,
yeah.
but I don't have enough hair.
Yeah, you're kind of lost.
Yo, the barber where I go, there's like a lot of young kids come in there, and they all look like this.
Look like that,
They
right?
all look like this. This kid at work also got a haircut the other. He looked like this. They
Yeah,
all.
a lot of the
look
kids are doing that.
It's crazy. This is the look. Okay.
Look, one of the looks.
It's kind of like Justin Bieber. I don't know. But
Yeah, it's very Biebery.
Yeah, well, Bieber would grow his hair out all around. This is more like cutting the sides.
yeah, cutting the
It's,
sides.
it just smacks of I'm hiding my forehead acne.
Yo, the Skibbity Ohio, that haircut is fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, my forehead. Yes, you can hide all the pimples. That is true. That's clever.
Yes, that's what
That may
it's.
be why.
That's the way. That makes sense.
That may be why.
I don't need to do that. Damn it! I'm not pubescent anymore. My pubes are white now.
Moving on here.
Moving on from hair.
Ironheart is also premiering next year. Is anybody excited for this show?
What?
No.
Ironheart.
No.
Riri Williams.
No.
Remember Riri? Ironheart.
Nah.
Wasn't
It's
that
fine.
done? I thought that was done, and then I'm pretty sure I read. Maybe I might be wrong about this. That this was done, but they had it filmed, but then they decided to hold off because they were releasing too much, and they were like, "Let's cut back on all this stuff."
Well, you might be right. They're just probably sitting on it until because
I thought I read that they were sitting on it.
because they're that was back when they wanted to make 4 things a year. And now, and
Right.
we talked about last week, 2 shows, 3 movies, tops. So we're gonna push everything back. There's a lot of animation coming. Also, the Marvel Television logo and brand is returning after many years. After being shut down in 2019, the same Marvel Television that gave us like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the Netflix stuff, Cloak and Dagger, The Runaways, and The Inhumans. Let's not talk about that show. Because they took Serinda Swan, a beautiful woman, and cut her hair off. And I didn't even know that was her. She's great on Reacher. But so, yes, Marvel Television branding will be back. That's kind of fun.
I think that's just branding, but they're still going to have Fahey overseeing it. But then they're going to make like their own television,
And they're going to have showrunners instead of like
Right.
head writers. So getting back to basics, the way television has always been made, it wasn't broken. Should probably follow that template to get everything back on track.
Let's everything we. I can't even
doing?
talk. I don't know what's going on. I can't talk.
You okay, Ruggs?
I need alcohol.
Did you hit your head earlier?
No, everybody thinks that the old ways of doing things are these traditional ways of going about business or running a writer's room or all have to be reconstructed. But sometimes it's just...
It was working fine.
They figured it out. Sometimes it worked.
Just like the streamers are bundling and it's going back to cable and television like it was, because it was fine the way it was for the most part. They tried a little disruption and...
it was fine all along.
It was Agatha all along. Last thing for Marvel News. This wasn't in the upfronts, but another week and another fantastic forecasting. They have now added Natasha Lyonne from Russian Doll and Poker Face in a mystery role in the Fantastic Four movie. This cast is crazy. It's like a cast of an indie movie or something.
She's also the Silver Surfer.
Is she going to be another Silver Surfer? She's great. You know Natasha Lyonne, Anthony? Redhead?
No.
She's got a real gravelly voice like she smoked a lot of cigarettes. She's fantastic.
Natasha Lyonne?
Yeah.
Look her up.
She's great. Poker Face is a great show. Russian Doll is a great show. She's done a lot of...
Oh, that girl.
Yeah. You've seen her.
She was in American Pie.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Long time ago. That's how I know her.
The way you said it. That's great. That's how I know her.
She was in Blade Trinity also.
Yeah.
Was she?
She was a vampire, I think.
Oh, that is a clue of our next What the Fuck Happened. I just gave it away.
She was in American Pie. This is her.
So, some people speculating she may be playing Alicia Masters, right? The Ben's girlfriend, and that Malkovich may be the puppet master, which is, I think, is her stepfather. That would kind of make sense. I just wanted to go up to Johnny and be like, Johnny, light my cigarette for me. Hey, thanks. That's all she's going to be doing. I love Natasha Lyonne. She's great. Anyways, that's it for the Marvel section. Listener, you can join this conversation. Let us know what you think. Join our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. There's a link in the episode description. Jock and Nerd. It's an exclusive closed group just for you. Everybody's in there geeking it up. Spoiler threads. You can post fun things. It's lots of fun. Okay, moving on. Amazon put on a fucking crazy thing at the upfronts. I picked out a couple of announcements. They had some fucking crazy announcements. Crazy announcement number one. Did y'all like Jake Gyllenhaal as Dalton? He's coming back. Roadhouse is getting a sequel.
Wow.
Oh shit.
I was amazed when I saw it.
Why is this so amazing?
I didn't think it was a thing. I mean, I guess it was, but
it must have numbers.
It must. And I'm just perplexed that movie, they're like, "Oh, we got something here." Because it's fine. It's like, it's okay. It's like an okay action movie.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't even come close to living up to the old Roadhouse. Like, I don't think anyone's ever going to watch that one and watch the old one and think that one's better.
Right. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different, Dalton.
I'm perplexed. It's become a thing, enough of a thing that Amazon went, let's make another one.
I don't know. People, I think, low key fucking love this movie. They must.
It must have gotten eyeballs.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Oh, definitely. That's exactly why it's happening.
And I mean, I'm kind of in. I'll definitely check it out because remember, spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Conor McGregor, not dead, even though he gets stabbed violently like a fucking vampire with 2 stakes right in the chest. Not dead and kills like a whole ER room of people at the hospital. Walks out.
Did we talk about this on the show?
No, we talked about this on this past Discord.
Oh,
that's where I workshop all these topics.
We're like, what do we do next?
Yes.
And I think it's got to be Vegas.
Oh, yes. Ruggs' idea was, that's my question was, do you keep him at that roadhouse or do you have him moving around other roadhouses?
He goes to Vegas to be the prime security guy at this fucked up resort casino. And I'm just making this up on the fly here. And the guy who runs it, his son wants to take over the business, but his son's an asshole. His son's like a maniac.
Yeah.
And he's trying to keep him from fucking up the whole business, but he gets Dalton in there. But the guy wants Dalton out of there. So he tries to like lure him back to the UFC.
Maybe they're hosting
and fight a guy that's gonna basically try and kill him.
So maybe they're hosting a UFC event and he gets.
But you gotta find a way to rope in Connor. Again,
yes, Connor.
That's half.
No,
half the
Connor's
appeal.
gonna be like a guy that just shows up and maybe is one of the preliminary fights or something. I don't know, or something. Or after he beats the guy in the UFC, he thinks he's done,
and Connor
and
shows
then
up.
And then Connor shows up, and they have a fight on the rooftop of the fucking hotel, and that's how you end it.
I mean, his character was just ridiculous and fun to watch, and I love how he delivers every line.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted that this movie is getting a sequel.
What about this? Maybe you try to get Sam Elliott to make an appearance as what the fuck was his name?
No, he died.
Well, I ain't gonna show you my dick.
He died.
He did die, didn't he? But maybe
Sam Elliott? He died?
He died. No, he died in the movie.
He died in the movie.
Oh.
He died in the movie, but you could write something. But he could be, it's not the same Sam Elliott. That's a different character, right? It's a whole different universe. So you could bring him back.
Yeah, I guess it is a different
Wade Garrett.
universe.
Yeah, Wade Garrett is dead. But I'm saying have Sam Elliott in the movie as another character. That would be a nice little touch.
He should be Dave Garrett, and then he should be like his twin brother.
Yes. Gade
They
Warrett.
should just make homages to the Roadhouse 2 direct-to-video sequel.
Oh, God. I haven't even
because
seen
everyone
that.
will understand that.
Yes. Everyone will understand the obscure straight-to-DVD movie. I
haven't seen that. Is that any good?
I almost wanted to check it.
I'm surprised you haven't seen
did.
that.
Yeah, right?
I haven't.
I didn't even know it existed.
Ruggs, you need to watch it.
That one flew right under the radar.
Listen,
It must have been so terrible I didn't even know
Ruggs,
about
this
it.
is your homework. If you go watch it and let us know.
I'll look. I don't know where it is.
I'd appreciate it.
Is it playing
You're going to
anywhere?
have to watch that. 2006 release.
2006. Wow. Yeah.
It stars Shane Tanner,
Who the fuck is that?
a character named Shane Tanner, who's playing the son of James Dalton.
Oh, shit. It's Dalton's kid. Ooh, that's the
He's
same.
not
universe.
Danny Tanner? Oh,
Danny Tanner. Not Bob Saget. So that occurs in the same universe. Interesting.
I gotta watch this now.
Look, get Sam Elliott and Roadhouse.
So it's Jonathan Shake. Jonathan Shake plays the new Dalton. Will Patton's in it from The Punisher. I'm gonna watch this.
Okay, we need a full report next week. I'm giving you homework.
I'm gonna watch it. If I can find what is it on Tubi? No, it's on Fandango. I gotta find it on
You'll find it.
80 million worldwide viewers to date. Roadhouse. That's what they said. So those numbers are good enough. Look, I'm here. Give me another one. It's fine. I don't have to, just throw it out and I'll watch it. Next crazy thing Amazon announced. Nicolas Cage will be starring in a live-action Spider-Man noir TV show made by Amazon that'll premiere on MGM Plus first and then go to Amazon Prime Video. I don't know why. That's very...
MGM Plus?
Yes.
Nobody has anyone have that?
Jose Ibarra has it, I think. I know I borrowed it. I borrowed it from him to watch. I think From is on there. So I needed to borrow. But nobody has that. It's a very strange choice.
It should just get swallowed up by Amazon at some point.
Just put it in there. Like, it probably will. But holy shit, come on. Geek boner. Nick Cage playing a live-action alternate universe Peter Parker, who's a retired detective, and maybe in it looks like Sin City or like Sky Captain, like black and white noir. That sounds fucking awesome, Anthony.
Is this animated or live action?
Live action Nicolas Cage Spider-Man noir.
I mean, it sounds silly as fuck, but that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way this isn't at least entertaining.
It has to be, and I don't know if Nick Cage is
Nick Cage in anything is entertaining.
He does has ever done a TV show. This will be in the 1930s New York. Ruggs, thoughts on this? Excited? Geek boner? Come on.
Sounds like an abomination, but and it's got Dan Slott written all over it. But I don't know. It might be fun to watch Nick Cage. That's the only thing that piques my interest is that the old Nick Cage will be there.
Do we get
psychotic?
Do we get a Nick Cage Ghost Rider cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine? That's another question.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be fucking fantastic.
You know that what's his name? Ken wants to play Ghost Rider.
Ken? Oh, Gosling. Yes, I saw things about Gosling possibly
He's campaigning to be Johnny Blaze.
I think he'd make a good Ghost Rider.
Sure.
And then there's this other story on comicbookmovie.com. Rumor Taylor Swift has met with Kevin Feige to discuss Marvel Cinematic Universe role. Oh, okay. Listen, Nick Cage is fantastic. And what is not moving forward, they were going to make a Silk Spider Society show about Cindy Moon.
Oh, that'd be horrible. With
Angela Kang, showrunner, who's from The Walking Dead, and Lord and Miller producing. That is now dead there. They may shop it around to somebody else. But
after Madam Web, that probably was like, nope.
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons. Madam Web, speaking of which, is the #1 movie on Netflix right now, currently.
Not surprising.
Yeah, so if you've not checked out the awfulness...
Because all the kids who don't go to the movies, which is anybody under like 30, doesn't go to the movies.
This may turn into like a cult thing where people are doing the lines along with it.
I was at my mom's place and I was looking at what she was watching on TV and she had Madam Web on. She goes, Anthony, is this good?
Does she watch
I said... I immediately in my head, I said out loud, I don't think so. It's not good. But then 2 minutes later, I'm like, or 2 seconds later, I'm like, Mom, I think you'll kind of like it. Watch it.
Yeah,
she was watching it when I left.
You might get a kick out of it and not be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, she probably will think it's all right.
I think it's getting all the people who heard about how bad it was, and then they're like, all right, let's fucking check it out. It's gonna get so much eyeballs. The only good thing also that came out of all this is that they said Lord and Miller are going to oversee all the Sony Marvel stuff, which I think is a great idea. They should be. You got a guy now, right? Like everybody's there, like the Kevin.
Isn't that two people?
It's Lord and Miller, but they work well together. You know, Lord and Miller. They're like one. They're like one.
I love Lord and Taylor.
Lord and Taylor.
Yes, I buy all of my mom's scarves there.
Did they go out of business? Is that still Marshall Fields?
No, they still got a couple.
Lord and Taylor. Swift. No, Lord and Miller, who gave us the awesome Across the Spider-Verse shit and other fun stuff. I trust them, I think, with the Spider-Man properties at Sony. So hopefully they can make something good. Probably not. The other announcement, The Boys Season 5 renewed. It's getting a Season 5. Season
5, now you're getting into dangerous territory.
Season 4 will premiere next month. June 13th, ahead of Season 4.
Like 5 is the magic number.
5, I think
you got to stop after 5.
You think you should be done after 5? We got Cobra Kai is on. Are they on 6? And then they're gonna stop.
Yeah, they should stop. They went over their 5 limit.
Stranger Things is on 5, I believe. Also,
yeah.
And then I think it'll be done.
I think anything over 5. Once you go past 5, you're clearly just stretching it out for dollars.
I guess unless what if
money grab?
What if I guess if there's more story to tell in the source material with some of these. What do you think, Anthony? 5 is a good run for The Boys. We get 2 more then.
Sure.
All right.
Go with 5.
Are you excited for the?
I mean, so far they haven't disappointed with anything they've done. So
it's better and better.
You know, obviously you want to quit while you're ahead. I don't know how long The Boys comic book run has gone.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still going. I have no idea. So if there's more source material that's good, maybe they have some stuff. How long is The Boys comic book run?
I feel like you just got to go out on a high note before shit gets bad.
Boys.
You do
how many seasons did Game of Thrones have?
Oh, 8.
8.
That's too many.
That was probably too many.
The Boys went for 6 years.
Oh.
But then they had other spin-offs.
Too. So, I mean, that you could almost translate that into like 6 seasons of television, maybe.
Then they got to stop because they're gonna jump the shark.
72 issues in the first run.
Right now, they got the water skis on.
That what's interesting is Shogun. They've announced they want to do season 2 and 3, even though they filmed the whole book. Story's over. I would love to see more. It was a great fucking show, great production, but
now they got to make shit up.
If you make shit up, it better be fucking good. That's all. It's hard. We saw what happened.
Well, they did with House of the Dragon.
Yeah. They do it.
That was fine.
Yeah. So speaking of which, let's move into the fantasy show section of this, which it's a great time to be a fantasy television fan.
It's a great time to have fantasies.
It's what a wonderful day. Yes, what a wonderful day for fantasies. Amazon put out season 2, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power teaser.
Jesus
Remember
Christ.
the feud between this show and House of Dragon continues into season 2 because they put out that teaser and literally moments later, HBO Warner Brothers was like, "Here, hold my beer," and they put out this. They put out this fucking House of the Dragon season 2 trailer. That's pretty dope. They put out a few more trailers. This was the first one for Rings of Power. Ruggs, did you see this Rings of Power trailer? You watched the first season, right?
Yes.
Did you like this trailer?
Yes.
Could you elaborate?
With the Rings of Power?
Yes.
Well, it's all right. Like, I mean, the show is what it is. It's fine. It's not like some people paint it to be this terrible thing. It's not terrible. It's just, it feels a little bit alien from Lord of the Rings. It feels like it's not quite capturing the books and the lore. But hey, they're getting into Sauron now.
Sauron. Now we know who Sauron is.
Yeah, the guy became Sauron. Now he's going to start fucking shit up. And now you can kind of get off and running. Like, now it's going to be like, you got a legit, the mystery is gone. You got the legit bad guy. You got your Skeletor. You got your Darth Vader of this world all set up. And now he's going to start fucking shit up. So they're still going to try and make him like a tragic villain, that like you kind of have some sympathy for. Yeah, you might kind of like not. He's gonna have some kind of caught in the middle, like almost like Darth Vader, right? He's like he's a guy, he's bad, but like he used to be a good guy and he got corrupted. So it's gonna be something like that, I feel.
I watched the whole first season and it was it didn't really compel me each episode to keep watching. It didn't suck me in. I just kept watching it because it was coming out and House of Dragons was coming out. And then the mystery of who is Sauron. Is he Sauron? Is she Sauron? Are you Sauron? That kept me hooked to watch I'm like, now I got to know who the fuck Sauron is. So I vaguely remember what happened with them creating these rings, but some of the shots here of the battles and the action looks kind of dope. I will probably reluctantly watch this again too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to be hopefully more impressed than I was the last time. Maybe they fix some of the problems. We don't know.
Anthony, did you watch this trailer? I know you don't care for these things.
No, okay. I don't care about this at all.
It's fine. It's fine because the better show, arguably, is House of the Dragon. I'm just going to say it. That made me peek the man. House of the Dragon, the better show, and they put out a new trailer. Anthony, did you watch that trailer?
I did.
Okay, tell us your thoughts on that. This is coming back
soon,
June 16th. The same week The Boys premieres. This will premiere. Yes, we're going to have quite a time in June. A lot of TV coming out.
A lot of TV. This looks good. The House of the Dragon brought Game of Thrones back, and I'm going to have to watch a recap video for sure.
Yes.
I did see that they released something 12 days ago. It was basically everything you missed in 13 minutes.
Oh, nice.
From House of the Dragon that you can watch from that HBO Max put out.
Oh, nice.
It looks good. I like the internal conflict that they're showing with the characters being also friends at one point. There's some lines about, not, are we going to have to, not like this type stuff, like Alicent being like, I don't want to do it like this, but then Aemon or Aegon or whatever the fuck the guy with
a lot of
A
names, yes.
Yeah. Being a little bit more vindictive. So I'm curious to see how this plays out and all the different factions and shit. So yeah, it looks good. And the only time Game of Thrones really never delivered was at season 8.
Yeah, because it was rushed and those guys wanted to get to their Star Wars movie that they never made. Fantastic.
So, 1 out of 9 seasons.
It's still a good track record.
Although that last season was very, very, very,
it
very,
put
very
a sour taste in many a mouth.
It did not stick the landing was pretty rough on one of the most beloved shows ever.
Almost to get you angry. If you let,
people were really upset.
You let it, and it would be absolutely.
The way what's her name, Daenerys' arc ends is really.
So
not tragic, not in a storyline way. Tragic in, oh my gosh, how did you fuck that up so badly?
But I love in this trailer where Rhaenyra is asking Matt Smith, do you accept me as your queen and true ruler? And he doesn't really answer right away. And then that shot at the end where she's in front of the fucking dragon. It's pretty cool. Ruggs, you excited for this? What do you think of this?
Looks good. it immediately made me excited to watch it. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for this to start up. So very different reaction than Lord of the Rings. I'm pumped for this. The thing about the House of Dragons is that it's a very simple thing to get behind. All right. Someone was usurped. She was promised the throne and she didn't get it. And now she's angling to get it back and things have happened now. And, now they're locked in this feud. And you can totally get behind it. You don't even need to know that much about not Lord of the Rings.
Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. You don't have to watch any of the old ones. You could just watch this and still enjoy it for what it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You could watch this season and it's removed enough. And both sides have dragons. So lots of dragons in the first season. Looks like lots of dragons in this season. That's what I'm here for. Give me the dragons.
Well, it did so well and it got so much good buzz. I think that HBO or Warner Brothers or whoever the fuck is funding this now really was like, all right, we're getting behind it. So that's also good.
You got Millie Alcock, who will be Supergirl, even though she's not in the show anymore.
It was sad when she left, her and the other girl.
Yeah, they were it was half a season, right? Then they grew up and they were replaced. But I did like the younger versions of them was great. Maybe they could do flashbacks or something. I don't know. Okay, last thing, another fantasy show from Max. Warner Brothers is we'll give you 2 Dune movies. How about a TV show, you fuckers? Dune Prophecy. Set 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides.
Wow, that's just such a crazy thing to fathom.
Coming out this fall. 10,000 years. How old have people been? A couple thousand years, right? At the most in recorded history.
Oh, art, yeah, probably a couple 10,000. No, not a couple. I think we're 10,000 years old.
Maybe 10,000.
I think there was caves in France, the Lascaux caves. They date back to 25,000 years
crazy.
ago.
Okay,
27,000 years ago. About so
just time span. That's a long time before what we see in Dune, and this is the story of the Bene Gesserits, the Jedis of Dune. Rugs, you're
earliest, just out of curiosity, just to throw earliest known examples of Neanderthals.
Yes.
What are the? I guess those are the original humans. 430,000 years ago.
430. What about Homo sapiens then? That's before the Homo sapiens.
Yeah, we need to know about the Homo sapiens.
Well, the Homos. Okay, let's wait. The Homo sapiens.
Not Homo superior. Those are mutants.
Between 200 and 300,000 years ago.
300. Oh, okay.
Right.
So that changes things.
Yeah, so it's been around.
Yeah.
10,000 been around for a bit.
Yeah, we've been around for a bit.
We've been scratching our balls for a long time.
You know what? We're doing all right, humans. You're doing okay. Way to not fuck everything up right away. 10,000 years is a long time. Rugs. Do we care about the story of the Bene Gesserits? Actually, no. I'm going to ask Anthony. Anthony, you saw the Dune movies.
Yep.
You saw those witches, those Jedi witches. Yep. Do you care about them enough for this to suck you in and you want to find out how they started?
Not really, but I think my problem with it thus far, and I'm sure the people are going to eat this up. I'm just not I like Dune 2 a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not super immersed in the Dune lore, so there's that. The Bene Gesserits, the fucking witches or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess they are kind of interesting. I think my problem with watching this trailer is, one, it doesn't look like the movie.
Yes.
So
they tried.
The movie. Yeah, I mean, it looks good for a TV show, but the movie set such a high bar.
That's a good point.
And then the other thing is, especially after watching this back to back with House of the Dragon, is I'm like, this just feels like it's just too
generic, almost
too similar. Yeah. Almost too similar. I know Dune has its own lore and it's been around for longer, but those are my issues. I think it felt too similar to House of the Dragon in terms of the way it looked.
It's
not as good as that, nor not as good as Dune. So
if they're doing it right? Yeah. If they're doing 10,000 years in the past, it can't be anything like Dune. It shouldn't be anything like Dune because if you go even 3,000 years in the past or whatever, we're nothing like those. I mean, you could maybe track religion, the Old Testament to maybe 7,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But completely different way of living. If they go back 10,000 years, do they have space travel?
Yeah,
do they
I
have
see
all this
spaceships
stuff
in this shit? So they still have.
So then
some kind of something.
You can't really gauge the difference in time. Like, I don't know. I feel like it could be cool, but it'd be a good place to actually unfold a lot of the lore that they didn't touch in the movies, like the Butlerian Jihad and all that stuff, where they built robots and the robots rose against them, and then they got rid of AI.
I knew it was the Butler's fault,
and they called them the Butlerians.
Yeah,
the Butlerian Jihad.
That's why there's no tech. That's the reason.
That's why they don't have AI.
They have no computers now, and they have humans acting as computer interfaces because of the Butlerian Jihad. Did read about that.
So if they did that, but that doesn't seem, they're just doing Bene Gesserit stuff. So, which is kind of like Dune Jedi stuff.
Well, the Harkonnen family is mentioned in here also. And, I don't see any tech, but it does look similar to all I might get confused. You watch all these trailers, you're easily going to get confused.
Like a 10,000 year bloodline, that just sounds preposterous.
Yeah, is Arrakis even around? Is the Atreides bloodline?
But there was Harkonnen.
There was Harkonnen, so
10,000 years though.
It's crazy.
That's not even. You can't even wrap your head around.
No, you can't.
Yeah, that's just
that is. Yeah,
that can only happen in a place that doesn't make any sense.
So you're saying it should look completely different and not like Dune?
I think
because
it'd be better if it was. If it wasn't even called Dune, I mean, it's related to Dune. It's like
that's the way they're going to get viewers.
Yeah. But
I'm saying it should look like not like the way the design is, but it doesn't look like Dune as far as even the cinematography. I'm talking about,
right? Because it's not
the reds aren't as
that's
vibrant.
a different story.
Yeah, it's not Denis Villeneuve doing the TV show.
That's true, but it just seems like it's. I don't know. I feel like who's going to want to watch this other than people who really want to know about the lore of Dune?
I'll watch.
Is there? Yeah, I mean, look, all they need to do is get you to watch the first one. And if it's good enough, like if it really is a good story, you'll watch the rest of it.
Make it adult, make it a little sexy. We're missing sex in our content.
Well, I want to see some action too.
Yes.
I like action.
There's some sword fighting here, but I
want like badass characters. We're having to badasses. We need cool badasses.
Dune 2, by the way, will be streaming on HBO Max by the time this show posts. So I can't wait to watch that shit again. Again, definitely gonna watch it again. But a lot of these movies are coming out to streaming so fucking quickly. I think The Fall Guy is gonna be on streaming just 3 weeks after its release. It'll be on VOD. You can rent it or buy it. It's kind of nuts. So another reason people don't really need to go to the theater, right? The fucking thing is gonna be out on your TV in a couple weeks.
Yeah, the turnaround time is quick.
It's crazy industry. The upfronts are crazy. That's it for the news. Fellas, we will take a break here, play some promos, and come back and talk about X-Men 97 all day right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcast now. You will literally love it.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, this is a good time to join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
And you can give back on a monthly or annual basis. All of it goes back into supporting the show, keeping the show going. We appreciate everyone's continued support. You can get access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. There's bonus content posted in there. You can join us for our monthly Discord hangouts. We just had one. It was lots of fun. The next one will be on June 20th. It's a month out. I'll remind you later. Put it in your calendar. You can also pick a movie for us to watch and review. Lots of fun stuff over at jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Support the show. Do it now. Okay. Let's get to this week's.
Do it now.
Do it now. Grab my hand. Do it.
Do it. Kill me up here.
Do it. Not reviewing an Arnold movie. We are reviewing the first season of X-Men 97, 10 episodes on Disney Plus. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
This is crazy because it's kind of like the first time we can talk about the X-Men in the MCU, sort of. Sort of. It is, of course, a revival of the 90s X-Men, the animated series that ran from 1992 to 1997. Those years I was in college, but I do remember watching the show. I remember it being a big deal, but I wasn't a kid. Anthony, do you remember watching the show when it was on?
I remember watching it every Saturday on Fox as a kid. Yeah. I don't remember specific episodes at all, but I remember the theme was iconic, and I remember enjoying it as a kid, and it was definitely a big part of the things I was watching back then.
So, and I think, there's a certain age of people who this is like direct nostalgia from growing up, and then certain other people were older, and I think it does, affect how you see the show and how you enjoy it. Ruggs, do you remember watching every episode when it aired?
No, I did not watch it. I watched a lot of them. I think that at a certain time, I watched them like when I was in college. I guess they came out
all our college years.
Well, the question I have for you guys
into college. Yeah.
The question I have for you guys is, did you guys think, as you were older, did you think it was good? Because I don't remember if it was good or not. I have no memory.
Well, I was just annoyed that the animation was so like wildly out of control. Like it would look good one episode, and the next episode would look weird, and that always, as a person who paid attention to like animation a lot and the way that they did things, I was like, wow, the quality's bad, and it would bother me. Like sometimes they would have heavy blacks and these big shadows, and then other times they wouldn't. And it was just very strange, like animation quality wise. But if you take that out of the equation, it was a pretty spot on show for the as far as the comics goes. It brought a lot of people into X-Men comics, and it was at its height in popularity at that time. And X-Men had that Jim Lee issue, and then they broke it off into teams, and then they had X Factor, X Force. Generation
92
X
would have been the height of like 90s X-Men, because all that shit happened in like 1991, and I was buying X-Men comics, and I remember at that age, I still remember the theme song. I love that. I thought the animation of the opening was fantastic, and I think I was actually surprised that this was they were doing these storylines from the comics and doing them pretty faithfully. I thought it was good because I clearly kept watching it.
I think they took their time a little bit more on the show because they had more episodes in each season.
So we had 10 episodes. Each of those seasons were, I think, like 15 episodes. So they were a little bit longer, but it is longer, yes.
Yeah, so I think they had a little bit more time to space things out. And they knew that they were returning, and so they could kind of save things for other seasons. Here, I feel like they had a one-shotter, and so they put everything into it.
Yeah, they ran through a lot, but there's still more they can do. So that they didn't do everything. On Rotten Tomatoes, I could say that. Rotten Tomatoes. I meant to say that. You guys, this show is on 99% tomato meter, making this the highest rated Marvel thing ever. 94% audience score. That's pretty crazy. The show, of course, created by Bo DeMaio, who was fired before the show premiered for having an OnlyFans account. Did anybody ever get the story? Anthony Driver?
Well,
Ruggs, what do you know?
Go ahead.
I don't know what happened, but I know that he was doing something on his OnlyFans and some weird stuff that was weird enough. Like, it has to be really weird for Disney to want to distance himself away from him. So
Yeah, but he was very vocal on Twitter, engaging with the fans the whole time this show was running. And it was kind of interesting because he was giving you insight. He would give you like, here's the issues to read before the next episode. And he answered some questions.
Yeah, he's a little naughty, but he probably knew his shit about the X-Men.
He clearly, I think, does and is passionate about it. And then cast-wise, there's they're all voice actors. The most notable, I think, out of this, Ross Marquand playing Charles Xavier.
He does everyone's. He can do anyone's
voice. He really can. Like, what a fucking variety from Hugo Weaving to whoever you need.
I mean, he's immortal in.
Oh, that's right. He's great on Invincible.
In Invincible, yeah.
Yeah. But you have George Buza as Beast, Cal Dodd as Wolverine, Ray Chase as Cyclops, Jennifer Hale, Jean Grey, some returning people from the original, like Lenore Zahn as Rogue.
He does. Ross Marquand does Immortal and the Robot.
Oh, he does the
Invincible.
Yeah, Invincible.
In What If, he does Johann Schmidt, Red Skull.
Oh my God.
Infinity Ultron Centuries, and then in X-Men 97 he does Professor X. He does Victor Von Doom for a hot second.
Oh yeah,
and Apocalypse.
Oh, he did Apocalypse too. And I thought Charles Xavier's voice was perfect, and I did not think that was Ross Marquand. He's good at
not at all.
Impersonations too. I know he does a lot of impersonations. Who would have known? Ross Marquand, the voice of 1,000 people. Okay, it's 10 episodes long. Anthony, let's start with you. Did you binge large?
I watched the first 2 episodes right when it came out, and then I binged 8 this week.
Oh, geez.
Including 3 yesterday.
Oh, my
3
God.
on Sunday,
Okay.
right before we're about to record.
So I want to get into the finale episode on its own, but then I thought you could give us your opening thoughts and some favorite moments from the first nine episodes, maybe. How did this hit you as you watched this when you were a kid, and now it's back?
Yeah, I was one of the few that saw the first 2 episodes, thought, yeah, these are pretty good, and then just didn't have any desire to watch anymore for whatever reason. And you guys obviously wanted to review this, so I decided to catch up. Week to week, though, I was hearing from all my friends, this is great, like, this is awesome, this is amazing, this is saving Disney, saving Marvel, blah, 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 blah. So, I watched everything. I liked watching it in the way I did, just because I can kind of gather everything right away and didn't have to wait week to week. Overall, I mean, it's really, really, really good. I mean, the story moves. Each episode kind of builds on one another. They do a good job of giving a lot of different characters some shine, and characters that maybe we didn't, care about as much. Like Wolverine doesn't get a ton to do.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
It feels really like a Magneto, Professor X, and Cyclops, Jean Grey type story, which is good.
Yeah.
Like I think those are all good characters. I think Cyclops and Jean Grey get a lot of the short end of the stick, so this show rehabs them a lot, especially Cyclops. Stories move pretty quick. That could also be kind of a criticism. I think the animation, I'm not an animation expert at all, but I think obviously it looks way better than the 90s.
Yes.
But still feels kind of like the 90s.
Yeah, like a Saturday morning cartoon, right?
Yeah, so it feels good. It's kind of like the X-Men are kind of this like tragic thing where they sort of like the apes, where they just want peace, but there's so many factors and personalities and viewpoints on this that it just they're climbing. It's like pushing a rock uphill.
Yeah.
Like they're always fighting this.
There's different battles on different fronts.
Yeah, there's different people with different agendas. There's humans that have their biases. There's Magneto. There's, some of the characters we get into. So overall, yeah, I mean, I thought it was really, really good. Favorite moments? I mean, everyone talks about episode 5. That's a pretty shocking episode.
That was a great episode.
I think just seeing Cyclops be cool and like jump out of a plane and blast his way out and like lead. I thought that was good.
Landing was great. Cyclops.
Yeah, a lot of the Magneto stuff is really good. The Cable stuff is really good. I mean, there's a lot to like.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the only parts that I was like a little on, I wasn't super huge on the Forge and Storm stuff.
Okay.
I thought that got a little weird with the fucking demon. I'm not as familiar with that, so maybe that's from the comics. And the Jubilee Sunspot stuff, I was a little on. But overall, I mean, they do a good job. You know, they're juggling multiple storylines, and most of the storylines I was into. So, yeah, and it kind of crescendos into a big thing and then leads into something else. So,
yeah,
we can talk about that in a bit.
It does.
But yeah, everything kind of ties together.
It all ties together at the end and leads to this 3-part ending.
Yeah, I think it's one of those shows that, I mean, I don't remember as a kid. So I don't know if it was this good as a kid, but I could definitely see like kids liking it because there's a lot of fun action and the animation's good. But then obviously all the adults are appreciating it too. So overall, it's a big win for Marvel, especially on the heels of a lot of shitty shit that've been put out. Shitty shit. That's kind of redundant, isn't it?
Shit. You want?
Okay, so yeah, we can whatever you guys want to take it, we can go from there.
Ruggs, everybody's been talking about this show, saying it's the best thing ever. Why do you think it succeeded, and is it the best thing ever?
William Ron, if you ask me, it's the obvious thing is that I'll have to say it again, is that they used the comic books as a reference and they stuck to the essence of it. Now, what they did was they smashed a lot of stories together and they kind of like cherry picked certain moments, but they brought those moments into this 10 episode story. I do feel like they burned a lot of material. And there is plenty more to do, like you said earlier. But I would have liked it to simmer a little longer and have more of each character kind of deal with that current situation. Because they did like a little bit of Inferno and Madeline Pryor and all that stuff. And then they get into like this other stuff with the Sentinels and the losing the power. It goes by at a breakneck pace. And so the thread that holds it all together is the Magneto stuff. That's what I think is the and the Scott stuff. So Cyclops and Magneto are the MVPs of this. It's like you have the storyline where Magneto's now in charge of the X-Men and Xavier fucks off to get laid up in space and
space strange.
Yeah. And so now he's trying to do what Charles wanted him to do, but he knows that humankind is not going to accept the mutants and they're always going to be looking to get rid of them.
Magneto was right.
And then the whole thing with Genosha happens, and that's a crazy episode because after that, like, how do you go back? And we're living in a situation like this all the time in the real world, right? There's always like some crazy terrorist attack that leads to like, there's no peace and no sides trust each other. So that's very relatable. So it's like a very timely story to tell right now because it kind of is in the zeitgeist of what's going on in the real world. So it does hit. It hits on a lot of different things. And it's good to see Cyclops get his due. There's a few things I said they burnt through a lot of stuff. And I also think that some of the voice actors, they're being so old and like traditional throwback voices, it's cute, but at the same time, it holds it back a little bit because like Cyclops' voice is so like I can't even imagine a real person having that voice.
I mean, it's very dramatic, right? The whole thing.
Yeah.
Cyclops was fine. Anthony, did Rogue's voice bother you at all?
No, not really.
Okay.
I didn't even notice.
Okay, you didn't notice. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like Cyclops bothers me more than Rogue, but Rogue also bothered me.
The one that bothered me the most, but whatever, it's fine.
But hey, they're doing the original voices, so I can't really hold it against them. Like they're at least tapping into those old voices from the show. It just seems old timey.
A little bit,
like when you hear it.
And it just,
I think that's what makes it. Now the animation is great, like especially in the action sequences. I do think that there's something with the eyes that don't quite work. It looks like the pupils are too big, or it just looks kind of like it just doesn't quite work. The eyes, they need to rethink that. But the animation is cool because it's like Capcom, and the X-Men series like got married together, and they even had an episode with Jubilee where they were doing like sprites of them, and that was pretty cool.
World episode I thought was pretty clever. Instead of an amusement park, which it traditionally is, it's video games, which is perfect. Modernization of it.
It's a throwaway episode, but it's kind of fun at the same time, but not my favorite of all of them. I mean, I think that there are some great fights. They even do like a take on the cannonball where Gambit charges up Wolverine's claws. That's great. There's so much
a lot of anime
in
influence too. I agree that I thought the animation was phenomenal, like possibly the best animation stuff Marvel's done.
I like it better than the what if stuff.
It's interesting.
Do you like it better than the Invincible?
No, I think Invincible's a better show.
No, the animation.
Yes, just the animation.
Well, Invincible takes a lot of shortcuts, as they even pointed out in their own show. But I think that Invincible is like a little bit of a step down animation-wise, but I think it's a better show.
I heard, so the reason I brought that up is I was watching a review online of X-Men, and one of the guys said, his name's Cosmonaut, the Cosmonaut Hour. Yeah. He's kind of an annoying guy. He's like a little nerd. But what he said was, which I thought I agreed with, was Invincible is like has a better, like they draw out their story better. He's like, X-Men 97 could learn from Invincible in terms of like drawing out the story. Like,
absolutely.
Yes.
But he's like, Invincible can learn from X-Men on the animation. He's like, if you combine both, you'd have the perfect story. You'd have the perfect animated show.
I think that Invincible does character design really well. And it's just that some of the animation is, it's like, sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not so great. So, because I like their character design. Their character design is very iconic. And it's like Batman, the animated series, grown up. And so they got some of the, and it even looks like the guy who drew it. Art. So it's hitting on all those levels. And I like the way that they design the characters, but I just think the fluidity in the fight scenes in the Marvel thing is just great. Really like it's really, really nice.
It's funny you mention Invincible because this is kind of how I felt the whole time watching the show. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I was enjoying every moment. It definitely picks up the tone and the legacy of the Saturday morning cartoon and enhances it, gets a little bit darker. The animation's better. It has that same kind of melodramatic soap opera-ness that's right from the comics, right? And X-Men comics come to life. But then I'm hearing everybody just gush over it and like, this is the best fucking thing ever. And I'm like, look, this is great, but we have Invincible. I have seen Invincible, which is a show that it's giving you hour-long episodes, and the dialogue, the character interaction, the voice acting is so top-notch. The violence is, it's almost unfair to compare. You cannot reach that level of gratuitous violence.
No.
Right? But I'm like, this is great, but I still think Invincible is better, but it's unfair to compare.
Well, I think you're right on the money. I think it is better. But I think it's a good. The X-Men is actually right up there almost. With it.
I would agree. I think Invincible is better, but Invincible gives more tough stuff time to breathe. I would say the X-Men has a level of maturity though that I didn't think I would see.
Yeah,
the three-way love triangle with Magneto, Rogue, and Remy is not something kids are going to understand.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
That's a very mature love storyline. Yeah. Also, like the Madeline Pryor, Jean Grey stuff is pretty mature.
Yeah.
And then I would also say, just all of Magneto's stuff is very like those are complex feelings that he's having about stuff.
Yes.
And that's not like that. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like the same as Invincible, but it's not like levels down. It's pretty much almost there. I think that also the difference is X-Men is dealing with a huge ensemble cast.
Yes.
Whereas Invincible is much more focused. I mean, it is an ensemble, but it's much more focused on one guy.
It's kind of tough because you're conflicted. It's like on one hand, it's kind of bogged down by the past show a little bit, right? Because it can't fly like Invincible can. But it does its best to fucking jump.
But on the other hand,
high.
they have X-Men show has the benefit of having established characters, established designs, and kind of a look and a sensibility that they just have to pick up on and run with, and people clearly will dig it, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, even that established thing, though, like when I was watching this, because I obviously have the nostalgia from the old series, but I don't remember anything. Yeah. Literally, I don't remember anything.
Okay.
And I and I'm sure if you remembered everything, this show would be even more enriching, but I don't think you needed that for this show. Like, I came in just with nostalgia, but no storyline.
Yeah.
And right from the get-go, I was jumped in and I was like, oh, I know exactly what's happening. Like, there were some things I didn't understand the nuance of, but for the most part, I think it's a pretty palatable show for people that haven't seen any X-Men stuff.
I think the only storyline that is kind of confusing is the Mr. Sinister.
That's a little confusing.
Yeah. Inferno, like, because if you don't know about what happened in Inferno, you might be like, okay, why is there a clone of Jean Grey, and when did this happen? So that probably weighs it down a little bit too. But other than that, like everything else, like you could just watch it fresh.
But
and not have
also,
to
these
worry about
are
anything else.
everyone kind of knows these characters though. Also, Anthony, don't you think that comes into consideration? Like, you kind of know the characters coming in, as opposed to Invincible. Like, we had to meet.
Well, I think it helps because everyone does know X-Men characters, but I also think it wouldn't be a bad show to show someone that was just getting into X-Men.
Oh no, absolutely. I think it's just like the original series. This would get someone to look into the comics and stuff.
Like, this is probably because if you show someone that '90s show, like it's
a little dated.
nostalgic. Yeah. It's real dated. Like, if you tried having someone start with that, it's gonna be tough. If you have someone trying to start with the movies, it's gonna be tough. But if you show them this, I think this actually does a good job of like making you think, oh man, the X-Men are kind of dope.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite parts are the conversations between Charles and Magneto. They're very,
great.
Very deep, very layered, nuanced. It's always been an analogy for racism and discrimination. And now Bo DeMeo, I feel, throwing in like commentary on homophobia and other things. You have Morph that throws in another thing. And we'll get into like what he says in the last episode. But overall, they succeeded in doing what they needed to do, was pick up the pace and the look and just like the original series, run through all these storylines really fast.
Well, and build on something and make it better.
Yes, and it is definitely a good building. No, I love Scott. I love him actually being a leader and being cool. Some of my other episode 5 was amazing. That whole Gambit's death and just his whole call me Gambit, name's Gambit, remember. And Rogue is like, I can't feel you. It's very sad. Nightcrawler, Wolverine teaming up to fight those Prime Sentinels, where he's like, I'll give you 9 reasons. They got like 9 swords or whatever. That was fucking great. Magneto shutting the power on Earth was wild. Him pulling the adamantium from Wolverine was another moment I remember.
Oh yeah,
vividly in the comics. And then he had bone claws. And
I didn't even know who Bastion was. This was my first time ever seeing it.
I didn't know who Bastion was.
It's like the Onslaught.
Yes, and I will learn about Onslaught. So a lot of these storylines I was not familiar with either. I think I stopped reading it, but they've gone through to the early 2000s.
It was tough to remember a lot of this stuff because at that point, X-Men had now... The whole Marvel plan was, if a book was popular, make 10 books of mutants.
Spin everybody off and give them a book.
So there was like so many spin-offs. You had like X Factor, you had X-Force, you had Generation X, you had the New Mutants. So you had like a lot of books, a lot of books to read. And I think the X-Men had how many books of just X-Men? There was like 2 different books of X-Men too. So it was hard to keep track of everything at that point. It became a little sloppy.
What do we think of Bastion as, I guess he's the big bad of the season, and how they introduced him and got him into it? I like the backstory that he could have been an X-Men. He could have been the original X-Men. Charles went to him and his mother.
But he's not a mutant.
He is a mutant.
No,
he's techno-organic.
He can control machines and shit.
But I thought I don't think he's a mutant. I think he's like half Sentinel, half.
No, he was
human.
born with this ability to control machines. I forget why. It's a very time-traveling kind
of. But I
thing.
read because it's his. Yeah, like someone from one of the Sentinels infected his dad or something. Maybe I'm completely off on this. But I don't think he's a mutant.
No, I think he didn't think he was because his mother didn't want to tell him. But in the end, they tell him that he was a mutant. He could have been the first an X-Men. Am I wrong?
Really?
Yeah. Ruggs, isn't that right? What do you think?
Yeah.
It says here.
Yes.
I'm just looking at Wikipedia for what it's worth. It says here he is species. His species is an android.
Oh, well, maybe now. Maybe he's more
because he
machine
keeps
than
talking
man.
about how he's the next evolution.
Right.
So I don't think he's a mutant.
But he was born with this fucking that technovirus. Maybe I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah, I don't think he's a mutant.
I thought at the end they were mentioned like he.
I think he's half. He's half robot. He's different.
Maybe he's half mutant, half robot.
Yeah, no, half human.
Half
robot.
human, half robot.
Android.
Yeah. Well, because he thinks he's doing the right thing and getting rid of all the mutants, and then just eventually getting rid of everybody because everybody's the problem.
Well, yeah. First, he wants to make the human mutants slaves, and that's why Cable comes back because Cable's like, we got to stop them here.
Did you like that? Seeing Cable was essentially born and then grow up through time jumps.
That was great.
I thought that was pretty clever.
I thought it was great and a good way to like give you a crash course on who Cable is real quick. Like, oh, he's born, got the virus, send him in the future. Oh, here's back.
Yeah,
how would that make Scott feel to have his son there?
Yeah, having stranded him kind of in time.
Right.
Let's talk about episode 10 and where everybody ends up. So Magneto kills the power, which is fantastic, essentially dropping all the Sentinels. Like episode 8 was also really great because that moment when everybody came as Sentinels started attacking them, I was like, how the fuck are you supposed to even stop this? Like, this is impossible. Like, I felt like they put him in peril. And then you have Magneto in his underwear. This is the Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Coming out and stopping
sexy
everything.
Magneto action.
Yes. So Magneto decides the best thing to do is to kill the power on the planet. Yes, people are going to riot and die. And there was probably...
Doesn't care, though.
Doesn't care. Probably people on life support. He's protecting his mutants by...
But he's doing this because he saw what happened with Genosha.
Right. Because Magneto was right, according to that one lady, who I thought was going to be Mystique, the blonde Val Cooper. Where was Mystique in all this? There's no Mystique.
No, but they did talk about being brother and sister, so...
So I love the beginning of episode 10. Charles is in Magneto's mind. And you kind of go back to World War II to the moment where they kind of reveal to each other they're mutants, which that was fantastic. And the line that Magneto has is like, minds are far harder to bend than metal, was great. And then we learn we're in his head and there's a storm, which generally symbolizes a washing away of one's memories. He's trying to get him to turn the power off. Charles has to hijack Magneto's mind, which that was an amazing scene of both of them screaming at each other with the psychic power, risking both of their minds. And Charles does it, but also what happens? The Sentinels are back up. And Bastion's like, you people are idiots. You thought you could stop me. So this is like the key difference in their philosophies. Charles will risk the mutants getting killed again. And Bastion starts Operation Zero Tolerance, which I believe is from the comics also.
Yes.
And the Sentinels just start attacking everyone. And I love that moment where we find out Cable tried 200 times to stop Bastion and could not, which is fucking heartbreaking.
That's crazy.
And then you have the other Deus Ex Machina.
Well, apparently it's it's one of those events in the universe that's always going to happen,
like a Nexus event or something. There's no stopping this. We have another Deus Ex Machina. Happens in X-Men comics all the time. Oh, Jean Grey comes back as the Phoenix. That was dope. But like, you can always just write in the Phoenix
whenever you need
when things
want to kick
great.
some ass, just Phoenix just shows
when
up.
all the odds are stacked against you. The Phoenix is always going to be there.
You already burned the Magneto saving everybody. Now we'll pull the and look. I'll be honest. I thought that was dope. I was like, oh shit, geek boner. Seeing her come out of the water just like she does in the comics and she does all the time. Was fucking dope. So she deactivates all the Prime Sentinels, puts that little band back on his head, pulls all the DNA, mutant DNA from Mr. Sinister, and leaving him old and wrinkled. And he's like, oh, don't look at me. It just runs off. This was hilarious. And then Phoenix fucks off. That's it. She only had a little bit of Phoenix power.
I used up all the rest I had.
That was great for the moment. And then you have this great scene where Bastion rips Cable's fucking arm off and beats him with it. That was savage. And then absorbs the arm, giving him this crazy, awesome armor with wings. Now it has wings, so you can go horseback riding and play tennis. And it comes with wings. You don't get that reference? His plan is
Red Bull.
No, he's talking about tampons or maxi pads.
I'm talking about Red Bull.
Red Bull gives
you wings.
Okay, that's the current reference. Yes, Red Bull gives you wings. The old reference are the tampon commercials. You never seen those?
No. Tampons you put in your vagina.
Pads. Yeah.
Maxi pads. I just made that mistake. Is the one you put in your undies.
You never see those commercials?
And you need wings in your undies so you don't get, anything on your legs.
I don't remember those.
The commercials would be like, the girl would be like, these come with wings. So now I can do all my favorite activities.
It's always with wings.
Always with wings. And she's riding horses and playing tennis. Somehow the wings. Anyways.
Explaining jokes is always funny.
It's an old reference. So anyways, Bastion's like, I'm going to crash this asteroid M onto Earth and kill everyone. Wolverine this whole time is not in this episode. It's very interesting. He's kind of in a coma. I do love the moment where Scott tells him, don't you break her heart. There's a little love triangle there too, right? He meant his Jean. Because I don't know who Jean actually loves. Does she love both of them? Or was it Madeline Pryor? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Then you get a lot of people attacking Bastion, and he's just taking it like a fucking, you can't stop this guy. Rogue is great because she's like, his name was Gambit, remember it, and just fucking knocks him the fuck out. And then Sunspot finally powers up, and he's like, I'm Sunspot, bitch, let's go. That was cool.
Everybody starts becoming Omega level. It's like Storm gets her Omega shit going. Jean Grey gets her Omega shit.
Speaking of which, like Nightcrawler, Jubilee, and Cyclops are all battling Bastion, and I love the line he says to Jubilee. He's like, what are you going to do to me, child? Slay me with the 4th of July? It's fucking great. There's some great lines. And then she unleashes.
She's like, I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, and then she's like, game over, sleazebag. Video game reference. And then Scott does that like huge blast like he does in the game, in that Capcom game, where it's just like a wide open fucking eye blast. At which point a Sentinel comes in and you're like, uh-oh, except wait, it's piloted by Beast and the rest of the X-Men are in there. And I love this. This was a great moment. Beast is about to squish Bastion with the Sentinel. And they can blast him. And everyone, Rogue is like, she just wants to fucking kill him. She's so pissed. Everyone's like, let's get him. And Scott stands down and he's like, we should do to him what we've been preaching this whole time, tries to appeal to his humanity. Anthony, what did you think about that little moment?
I get it. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good little thing they did. I was almost like, are they going to turn Bastion good? Like, this would be quite a turn.
Yeah.
I understood what they were going for. I also was a little bit like, is this really realistic?
Yes.
Like, he even
goes,
he's a psychopath.
Yes, he even says, he's like, I tried to kill you. You tried to recruit me. What's wrong with you people? But this is where I believe Scott was like, your mother lied to you about Xavier and you're like them and you can join us still. Saying he's a mutant. Anyways, it's ironic because he's like trying to get him to trust mankind. Meanwhile, the Earth is like, we're going to launch missiles at this fucking thing. They launched the Magneto protocols and there's missiles heading to the thing. And Bastion just chooses to die in the core, I guess, instead of joining Scott. He's like, fuck off. And then this is another great moment. Scott and Jean visit Cable telepathically to kind of say goodbye one last time. I like that.
That was good.
I like that.
That was good.
Ruggs, did you like that tender moment? Little tender.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't tear up or anything, but I thought it was poignant. I thought that they needed to have that moment as a family together.
Yeah.
Because they think they're about to die, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, you're on a falling asteroid. You have time to do this. What is happening over there while this is happening? But don't think about it. I like he took his glasses off. You can see the eyes. And that was sweet. So while they're trying to stop the asteroid, there's an interesting scene with Morph, who is watching over Wolverine. And he goes, I can't say it, but she can. And he turns into Jean Grey and tells him she loves him. Now, is that Morph telling Wolverine he loves him? Or Morph just making Wolverine feel better?
No, I think he was trying to find a way to make Wolverine feel better.
Because, I don't know if Bo DeMeo has mentioned this on Twitter. He's insinuating that he was doing both things, essentially. he used Jean Grey to make Wolverine feel better, but also be able to tell him what he really feels about him, I guess. I don't know. You can read it both ways.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess you could read it like that.
That's interesting.
Yes. So
that'd be a weird turn.
Hey,
for sure.
hey, Morph, could you turn into Gene again? So
I mean, really, his powers, he could be whatever. So
that's right.
It's like that character on Gen V. You can just flip back and forth. Great.
Right.
Anyways, Charles, in Eric's mind, Magneto's mind, finally gets him to snap out of it. And remember, essentially, by telling him he's family. Family. He pulls a Fast and Furious. And then it's dope. Magneto wakes up and just goes, Magneto lives. And he stops the asteroid. Everyone's cheering. And then it gets crazy. Suddenly the thing just blips out. There's a little effect, little things, particles falling. The thing disappears. I had to rewind it. Because I was like, what the fuck just happened? Did I see that? All of Asteroid M disappears. Then we cut to 6 months later. They still haven't found the X-Men. The news is talking about it. Bishop visits Forge and tells him they got yanked through time. We have to rescue the X-Men. Then you cut to Egypt, 3000 BC, where you have Rogue, Nightcrawler, Magneto, Charles, and Beast. And they meet Adn Sabanur, who we all know is going to be Apocalypse. So it's pre-apocalypse, possibly fighting King Ramatut, who is a Kang variant, in 3000 BC. Meanwhile, in like 3900 in the future, Cyclops and Jean run into this tribe, the Ascani tribe, and a young Nathan. And this appears to be the world post-apocalypse. And the girl talking, I believe, is also going to be either Hope or Rachel Summers. It's another one. It's another Summers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then in a post-credit scene, we see Apocalypse in the present day in Genosha, holding a burnt playing card saying so much death, so much murder, alluding to lots of things like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Notice we don't know where Wolverine, Morph, and Storm end up. And if we talked about Onslaught, possibly they're going to do this storyline because Charles does a similar thing in the comics where he risks his and Magneto's mind, and they get melded together. So you have a Charles Xavier and a Magneto in one person, and he becomes like a really big villain that called Onslaught that gave the
That's not weird.
Yes.
Chaznito.
Yes, Chaznito. Charles Nito. So, and he was a pretty big villain, and the whole Marvel universe had to join in to stop him.
That's right.
That's where that ends up. We get a lot of cameos throughout the whole season, but especially in this episode. Any cameos that you particularly enjoyed there?
Well, Morph turned into the Hulk, and that was pretty badass.
Yes, and the Fantastic Four. So he can turn into...
I got confused when he turned into Fantastic.
Yeah,
Mr. Fantastic. I was, what the hell? Where'd he come from? And then, oh, it's Morph.
Yeah, a lot of times they'd be characters to show up and be like, what? Archangel's here? Oh, that's Morph. I thought he could just turn into other mutants.
They should be like a different color. They should all be like gray versions or something.
So you know that it's, or like a white version that you know it's him.
Right.
But if he could turn into anybody, why doesn't he just turn into someone powerful and stop everything? Or the Beyonder? I don't know.
I don't think he can do it for very long. That's the problem.
Anthony, any cameos that you liked?
I mean, there was a bunch. I thought the Daredevil one was really random. I thought the Cloak and Dagger one was super random. Cloak and Dagger
is great.
I was just curious why they picked the characters they did to have cameos.
I think they were trying to show that there's a wider Marvel universe, and that's why they had Cap in there, and
Iron Man. You got Psylocke,
Peter Parker, Mary Jane.
So that Peter and MJ cameo is very interesting for the reason the end of the 90s Spider-Man animated show, Mary Jane had got sucked away into a multiverse. They did the clones, they did the multiverse on that show. And Madam Web was helping Peter go through multiverses to find Mary Jane. And when that show ended, he had not found her. She was missing. That never got
She
resolved.
was at a bodega. You have to ask for a certain thing.
Yes.
And then you get it.
Mary Jane. Wink, wink, wink. It's behind the Kit Kats right there.
Can I have the salt?
So Bo DeMeo confirming, yes, Peter found MJ. I would love to see a whole bunch of these series. Is this like bring Spider-Man back and Avengers 90s series? you can stick it in the 90s. It's the only thing that's like following somewhat the comics the most faithfully.
I mean, they had a good Avengers series. Earth's Mightiest Heroes was awesome.
And that was after the 90s, right? That was later.
Right.
But that was great. But you had a Fantastic Four show. There was like a Silver Surfer show. There was a Spider-Man show. You could do a bunch of these.
Yeah, the ending to this I thought was a good cliffhanger. I was like, where is Wolverine and Morph and Storm? Apocalypse is obviously an iconic villain. I did see some like predicting videos where they were like, you can bring in Kang.
Yeah.
Sounds like, I mean, because they show in the past and Sabanur
the dome, gold dome.
The dome looks like Rama Tut, Kang.
Yep.
And I saw some thoughts of like maybe in the future they have Kang helping the X-Men fight Apocalypse. Yes. But then in the past it's Apocalypse as a youngin fighting Kang. With the X-Men.
Oh, that's a time travel.
It's like fighting both, like it's like turned on its head in each side. But and then the prediction was that this is how you could tie everything into the MCU.
Well, I want to talk about that, but before I get to that, I saw a prediction. I think this is accurate. I believe Gambit, Wolverine, Morph, and Storm will probably be the 4 horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Oh yeah,
really?
Because remember in that scene when Gambit dies and Xavier's in space and he sees Gambit as a skeleton real quick as he's dead. He was Death in the comics. I believe this happened in the comics too. Gambit becomes Death, the horseman. But it would make sense where those 4 went.
Yeah, Gambit's a lock, but was Storm a horseman?
I don't know. I think
she was one in the Apocalypse movie.
Oh yeah. Archangel is also always great. Anyways, what do you think? Going back to what you said, Anthony, can any of this connect to the MCU? Should we expect it, or is it fine just where it is? Because you really can't adapt. Like, I think this is going to put a lot of pressure on the live action X-Men, but you can't make something live action that's like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Look, if they've built a lot of good cachet with this X-Men 97, so if you can tie it in somehow and make watching the movies feel more fulfilling with knowing that you've seen this, like I think that makes sense. I think it's a little tough though. Obviously, anytime you connect animated to live action, it's just, for me, at least me personally, I always have like trouble like comprehending that, because it's just two different it's literally, I'm watching two different mediums when you're doing that. So I don't know that it necessarily needs that, but I think they're probably going to try to find a way to do it, just because X-Men 97, the X-Men series already was so beloved, and now this 97 thing has just made fans, just all the X-Men fans just jump out of their fucking clothes. I mean, they just want to have sex with each other after watching this thing.
I mean, it did make me want to go back and read some X-Men comics, right? Yeah. But also, James Gunn is trying this. We've already gone over how he said everybody who's voice actor in the animated shows is going to appear in live action as the same character, like Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. So he's already trying to work that in, which is kind of crazy.
It all depends on the tone of the show, because animation inherently, you can get away with a lot more stuff. You can have melodramatic acting. You could have things go by in a crazy pace and not have to over explain everything, or make it works it's a completely different medium that it doesn't have the same rules. So when you try and do some of this stuff in a movie or a TV show that's live action, I feel like a lot of this melodramatic stuff is not going to work as well unless you have a really good writer.
Yeah.
So they got to be very selective on which storylines that they choose to do and how they write the characters and which team that they're using, and who's going to be the character that is going to serve as our
point of view.
Yeah. So that's all I don't think they can do it like they did in the show. I think the show had all this stuff that propped it up, and it was just a layup for them in a way. They had all the material. They just could run through it.
Yeah.
And the stakes aren't high, right? It's not like everyone's been clamoring for X-Men 97.
Right.
It was like a gift. It was like, we have this bonus thing here.
Yeah.
So I think they have the work cut out for them. I think they can move more to what the comics are. They could get the costumes better. They could make it seem a little bit more fantasy or sci-fi oriented than or even superhero oriented than the Leather X-Men.
It's a soap opera, though, you know? I mean, they had both sets of costumes. That was kind of cool to see them wear.
What made them change costumes? They just did it just because?
They're trying to get them in.
I don't know why they did. That's a good question. They're like, well, these are here now. Maybe the other ones got busted.
Some of them are for some specific runs. Like Wolverine changed his costume.
No, in the show, he's, I think,
in the show, like, why did they decide all of a sudden, hey, Wolverine's going to wear the brown and the poop brown costume, and Cyclops is going to wear the helmet costume?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They made those choices just to get them in, like to get those looks in, because they were in particular runs they've never been seen.
Yeah, you had the classic Jean Grey.
Like Storm's outfit changed like 3 times.
Oh, I love Storm's outfit after she got her powers back. That fucking
like she went to like the 80s version.
Yes, that outfit is dope.
Real quick on now that Rug Boy was speaking about it, I think if they can do it, like they should try. But I think the logistics of tying it in are very, very difficult. Like you also have to keep in mind the voices are going to change.
Sure.
And I just can't see myself seeing the way Cyclops and Rogue and like everyone speaks in the show.
Yeah. You can't do that live action.
And then if you imagine that in live action, it would just be a camp. Like you can't do it. It's just too.
Yeah. It only works.
So it would be tied, but it wouldn't really be the same. It'd be very difficult.
It only works on this show.
Maybe you do it as an alternate universe, and you can bring over like one character from there. But it'd be tough.
There's this other speculation. Would you buy maybe this Wolverine is the Hugh Jackman Wolverine we're going to see in Deadpool?
6 feet tall?
Oh, yeah, this one is a lot smaller. Wolverine who has failed his universe. I don't know. I don't think you could. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a tough one, but
people are going to want those connections. They're going to look for them.
Well, he's got the yellow costume. He's got it. He's got it on. Hugh Jackman's got that on.
The Hugh Jackman thing, though, he's kind of carved out his own Wolverine. So it's like...
That's true.
There's one from the show and the one that Hugh Jackman had played. I mean, they're similar, but it's not... Like, those are two different... Like, I think those are equally beloved.
Yeah.
I think even Hugh Jackman might even be more beloved.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to go back to, like, doing that. Like, if he's going to have the yellow costume, and people will be like, that's great. Like, I just love having Hugh Jackman back, and now he's in the yellow costume. By the way, did you catch the line where they were like, what were you expecting? Black leather?
I know,
yeah.
a reverse of the line from the first movie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Let's come all the way around. Hugh Jackman, by the way, if you think about it, 24 years he's been playing Wolverine. 24
it's a long time.
Years. It's crazy.
He thought he was done after Logan, too.
Every time I'm out, they keep pulling me back.
They just back up the truck.
Okay,
money.
Last question before we rate this. Is this the best X-Men adaptation yet in any outside of the comics? Is this the best X-Men adaptation ever?
Yeah. Sure.
I would say, yeah, probably. I mean, there were some good X-Men movies, but the canon on those is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Even the good X-Men movies, like, for example, First Class, the original team has...
different people.
It's just completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different because they had to try to fit this into a universe that was already fucked up from the beginning. So even the good X-Men movies, Days of Future Past, all that stuff, they're
They messed up their own timeline.
They're not very. Yeah, they're messed with their own timelines. They're not very. They're not very loyal to the comics because of various reasons. So yeah, if you want to like watch something that's loyal to comics and entertaining and well done, this is the one.
It has to be, yes, because it's literally like the comics coming to life. It is the pages of the comics and all its dynamicism and color and pop just fucking right there. Like they did a really good job.
What if they brought themselves into the world of the Marvel Universe mid storyline, and they needed the help from somebody? Because some of these things, like Onslaught, needs like everybody in the Marvel Universe to fucking help out, right?
Yeah.
So what if like they use their powers or something? They find a mutant. Maybe they find a mutant that can jump through universes or something, shit like that. Yeah. And make up some Deus Ex Machina mutant.
I mean, the Watcher was there, sort of in that one scene in the sky,
right? They could go and ask for the Marvel Universe for help, and then that's how you establish the X-Men universe.
I mean, look, here's what we know from Deadpool and Wolverine may answer a lot of these questions, because as we saw in that one little clip with the Ant-Man head, you had all those Fox mutants from the movies there in the void, you know, and who's to say they're not all there and the universes will get combined or something. Something's going to happen. How awesome was the beginning of X-Men 2 with that Nightcrawler in the White House, though? That shit is great. I want
that shit is awesome.
That was
really good.
I want a movie that's like that the whole way through. That was fucking perfect. It's fucking perfect. Okay, Anthony.
Yes.
Rate this. Give me a number. Rank it. I don't know. Amongst.
What am I ranking it?
I don't know. Current Marvel animation. You know, Marvel animation has not had a great track record, but they're changing that. We're going to get Eyes of Wakanda. There's a Spider-Man show coming. There's What If season 3 coming. It's gotten better. I don't know. You don't have
well, you know, the What If season 1 is hit or miss. What If season 2 is a little bit better. But this is clearly, you know, of the new animated stuff, this is clearly the best by far. And the animation style, I do agree. I think it's a lot better than the What If.
That's interesting. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it better. Yeah. Maybe it's a nostalgia, but also it is fun to watch, and the action's really nice. Storylines are, you know, they run through stuff, and if you like feeling like you're moving, this show feels like you're moving real quick. I think that might be a drawback too, is just because these are 30-minute episodes, and while they are building through stuff throughout the season, there are episodes where they fly through an entire comic book storyline pretty quick. You know, I think the show really is good when it has multiple episodes. You know, the last 3, they're all building on each other, are great. So I think that's a little bit of a drawback. I think there's also some characters that weren't as entertaining, like I mentioned earlier, with Sunspot and Jubilee and Bishop. Not like Bishop really has nothing to do. I wasn't a big fan of Forge. So there's some weird shit. But overall, I mean, it's really, really good. It like made me, you know, I think when you're watching a show and you like, oh, who is that character? And it made me do that multiple times where I was like, what's going on with this storyline? Or what's going on with this character? You know, I did that with Bastion. I did that with Mr. Sinister. Did that with several characters throughout where I wanted to go, you know, what's going on here? So anytime a show can make you more intrigued about stuff you didn't know about, because I don't read the X-Men comics. I haven't, even when I was buying comics, I wasn't reading the X-Men stuff consistently.
You haven't read any of the classic runs of X-Men?
No, never. I've never read. I mean, I know of like Days of Future Past in Phoenix, like a few of them, but I don't know. I don't know anything. Yeah. So I think it did a good job of making me intrigued about all that stuff. So yeah, overall, I think it's a very, very, very good show. I think there are things that they can even get better. So I think I'm excited to see what they do with it. Overall, I'd go 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, Ruggs.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's really good. I feel like they did make a soup of all the runs.
Yeah.
And, you know, they did away with some characters and they kind of streamlined it a lot. But it was fun to watch, and it had moments. It captured the essence of the old show. It captured the essence of the comic book. I feel like it's going to get a lot more fans watching the old episodes of X-Men and a whole bunch of new fans, all by just sticking to the comics.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth checking out.
That scene.
I feel like this show is Ruggs's like proclamation that he's been right all along. He's like Agatha.
Yes.
He's like,
Ruggs was right all along.
If you just follow the comics, you would have got it.
It's not hard.
I've been telling you.
He's been telling us for 9 years. It's not hard, Marvel.
Well, it's easier to make it like the comics in a cartoon, I think.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. So that's a big part of it.
And I think it's like it's not as brave. Like, it's when you do it in a movie, then I'll be impressed. But in a cartoon, I'm impressed, but I expect it more.
That scene where Rogue like drops, was it Trask? And you think she just murdered him, just drops him from the building, was dark. But of course he doesn't die. And that's where we learn about the Prime Sentinels. But stuff like that, every episode I felt had some pretty cool moments. Yeah, there was some weird stuff like half of, the Moser world, and it's like half the Storm thing. They split that into two things. But it succeeded in what it needed to do. And the animation's top notch. The action was fantastic. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. Also, like it's exactly what I thought it should be. And I think we've said it is the best X-Men adaptation. But it is animation, and it's a certain pacing and tone of 30-minute stories that you could get away with all this. So I'm like, what if any can they learn for live action from this show? I feel the Cliff Notes of X-Men. Yeah, it really is.
Well, I think
it really is.
I think there were some, like, when they killed Gambit, halfway through, and I know he's probably going to come back. So
yeah,
but, it kind of created real stakes in the show.
Yes, that was,
and you thought Magneto was dead.
Yes,
too.
Yes.
It felt like they were not playing it safe.
No,
like anything could kind of happen.
Yeah, after that episode 5, I was like, what the fuck? But they played it great. How we learned about the him and Rogue's relationship and her relationship with Magneto. And then that one scene where she visits him and he's just like throwing cards in the fire. And he's like, whatever.
I think that one episode was kind of preachy.
Oh, where Xavier in the Shi'ar, where he schools them about humanity. And
I was like, all right, this is a little bit.
I did also love how like
the media, weird.
Everything is told by the media. There's a lot of broadcasts that you learn things and how this is how the people see. Like Professor X being alive should have been a huge thing, and the media is like all scared about it and fear mongering about Charles Xavier is alive and stuff. Like that's brilliant. That stuff works great. Okay, let's do some news from the nation. I got a lot of comments from our listeners. They love this show.
It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Ooh, okay. Scott Swangorum from Mostly Superheroes podcast says, this show definitely exceeded my expectations on what I thought the series would be and raised the bar on what an animated show could be. X-Men 97 has cemented itself as one of the top comic adaptations made by Disney/Marvel, be it live action or animated. Rarely in this season did I feel anything fell short or missed the mark. Can't wait to see what comes next for this show and in this specific universe. Avengers, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. If they make them like this, I'll be watching. See, I hope they do that. I hope they do a whole bunch of 90s shows that all kind of connect. That'd be great. Jane S. Rhymes says, X-Men scattered across time, presumed dead and missing. Wolverine in a state of perpetual healing after failing to save his teammates. The world sees the X-Men in a whole different light after these events. I think it's safe to say this Wolverine failed his world and is the Wolverine that Deadpool recruits for the movie.
Oh, shit.
See, he thinks so. That could be interesting. Lyle Pringle said a lot of great cameos, that's for sure. I'm interested to see what happens next. But when the hell did Peter find MJ? She wasn't around at the end, and he was still looking for her. They better explain this to us. Yeah, that would be great. That could be the whole season of Spider-Man. Joey Austin, I give the show 15 stars. So good. I was freaking out at the end with Magneto and Wolverine. Dion Robertson, I just knew when they disappeared they were headed to the MCU. I was sadly mistaken. That would have been interesting.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Jesse Rodriguez says, so amped to see Gambit as the Horseman of Death. See, I think that's going to happen. Brian Goff says, love the season. Just one gripe, the use of Morph. If they can change into and adapt the powers and skill sets of anyone, why weren't they utilized so much more? We saw Morph turn into freaking Hulk at one point in the finale when they needed Magneto to turn the power back on. Couldn't Morph have just done that? That's a good question.
That is a good point.
Anyway, this show is fantastic. A small detail I loved was how the Marvel logo in the intro started off with music, and then that would blend into the opening credits. Oh, they would change the credits, too. Did you guys notice that? Like, the roster changed. Gambit was taken out. That scene where they're running at each other, and there's usually, like, people running at them with signs like humans. Towards the end, it was, like, Prime Sentinels running at them real quick, so I love when
the only thing I didn't like, I noticed they would do that, but then the last bit with the villains and the heroes running at each other.
Yes.
it was even when Magneto was part of the heroes, it was still Magneto and Professor X running at each other.
Oh, meaning he should have been on the other side. Yeah. Maybe next.
But I mean,
season.
that is iconic with the villains and the heroes running. So I get it.
Yeah, and to keep
the Brotherhood versus the X-Men.
Yes.
Running at each
Oh,
other.
where's the Brotherhood? Where's Kitty Pryde? And then you see the pictures of them on the wall at the end where Forge is. Like Colossus is still around.
Emma Frost wasn't really in this much.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. I mean, X-Men has a shit ton of fucking characters.
They have so much more they could do, even though
Archangel.
They ran through
If you
this.
take all the books and all the characters from all the books that are X-Men peripherals, there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's still tons they can do. Daryl K says
they should make Spider-Man like that, and just keep adding more Spider-Men. Make it as many as that.
You know what?
Wow, you sound like someone I hate.
Someone should make alternate versions of Spider-Man.
Right. Because we need more. I mean, if you're going to have an X-Men universe, you might as well have your own Spider-Man universe.
You should have like a hero that's like a person who could tell the future. And call her Madam Web.
Yeah. She should be studying spiders in the Amazon where her mom died.
And then there should be a vampire.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's just trying to cure cancer.
He's trying to cure cancer.
Daryl K says, was anyone else just whelmed by the finale? Not under, not over. Just he was just whelmed.
I thought it was pretty good.
What was your favorite episode of the season? Real quick, anybody? Could you?
Oh man,
I like the last 3 episodes. I think they worked really well together, and that one with Gambit in the 5th episode.
I liked 5 and I liked 8 specifically a lot.
5 and 8. Yeah, 5 is really good. Let me just look at the episodes again. 8 is
where all the Prime Sentinels start coming and Magneto.
8's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the finale.
10 was good.
I think the first episode is really good.
First episode is very good. There's a lot of great action.
I think my least favorite was Motendo.
That's the half and half. Yeah, the Mojo and the Storm.
Really
which I guess
I didn't really like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that was a story.
I didn't really like that one, or I didn't really like the remember the episode 6.
Oh,
not 6. The half of 6 where it's like the fucking demon. I didn't really like the demon, the adversary. I thought that was weird.
Oh, right. That was when Storm gets her powers back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that whole Charles Xavier in space was unnecessary.
Yeah.
But
I did like Storm, like kind of dealing with her demons metaphorically and literally to get her powers back, but
it just was too weird.
It was kind of strange.
I like the Inferno episode too.
Oh, that's the episode 3, I think.
With Goblin Queen.
Yeah, Fire Made Flesh. So there's a lot of good ones. Okay. Jose Ibarra says, fantastic continuation of my favorite childhood cartoon. Near perfect in execution. Not a perfect show, but nearly perfect as a continuation. My only gripe is that should have premiered on Saturday mornings for full nostalgia. Wouldn't that be great if it came out Saturday mornings?
That's a good point. They probably would never do that because they want people to watch it right when it comes out.
Yeah, and everybody talks about it right away. You could, you could release it Saturday midnight or whatever.
I mean, that would have been a nice touch, though.
But I do agree. I think if you were a certain age when this was on, so younger than me, like this is going to hit a lot harder because I liked it, but I was like, I got Invincible. Like, seen Invincible? But I did really enjoy it. But maybe it wasn't. But you like Anthony. You liked it. You don't even remember the original, so maybe I'm
exactly. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, like I said, have nostalgia for it. Don't actually remember watching what the specific things were in the original.
Of course, the opening music is the best, and it was great.
Oh, that's still the best.
That's always fucking amazing. All right, let's finish up. What are we watching, Anthony? You watch anything else? I kept you pretty busy watching these, didn't I?
You did, but I did throw on just because I wanted to rewatch it. The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, dude.
Still awesome. Still a great movie.
It's a great rewatch too.
Yeah, that's a fun rewatch. Apes follow Koba now.
Oh, Koba no longer no ape.
Follow.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite moment? Favorite moment of that movie? Having rewatched it again.
The best moment. Well, there's a lot of good moments when Koba acts like a stupid ape.
I love that so much.
And tricks those guys and then gets the gun and kills them.
And then he's just like, short burst. Yeah. And the other guy's like, oh, fuck. And then he goes, and his face changes, and the way he's goofing
even
around.
the scene before that where he's milling around the armory, and then they catch him, and they're like they're about to kill him, and then he like turns into a dumb ape and does like and just starts like playing jokes. It's just like so good. But my most favorite, and I mean it's kind of not cliche, but it's kind of obvious, is at the end Caesar like climbs up the building and then like kind of rises up, and all the apes notice that he's alive. Yeah, and he confronts Koba, and that's where I'm quoting the whole thing. I know the whole exact thing. Like, Koba drops down. Yeah, and say what does he say? He's like, apes follow Koba now. Yeah, and then he goes, Caesar has no place here. Yeah, apes follow Koba now.
What does he say?
And Caesar goes, follow Koba to war. Yeah. Apes win war. Apes together strong. Koba weak. Or Caesar weak. And then he goes, Koba only fights weaker. And then they start fighting. And even the way they start fighting, where it's like they're fighting like apes. Yeah. But like also doing like human-y type stuff. Yeah. It's such a good scene.
And he says something like Koba only fights for Koba now or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, Koba only because Koba's saying that he fights he loves humans. Even the scene there's a scene earlier too where Caesar is like contemplating what to do and he's like, let the humans do their work. Yes, and then Koba like points at all the scars on his body and goes, human work.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. He's like, what are they doing?
It's so good.
It's human work. And he's like, oh, like this human work. Oh, it's so
it's such
great.
a good it's so good because they're both on like the humans and the apes are on the precipice of like doing something great, but like there's like these little things that happen.
It's Charles and Magneto. It's Charles and Eric. It's exactly the same relationship.
And there's these little things that happen that just make it inevitable. And then the ending is kind of like really sad because the guy and him, like they both agree that it's just too late now and they're past the point of no return. So it's like it's just such a great movie.
It is so good. All right. Ruggs, you watch anything?
I watched a couple episodes of that Everybody's in LA.
Oh, what'd you think of that? It's crazy, isn't it?
It's fun. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
It's fucking messy and chaotic, and like he barely has control of what's happening.
I also watched something else that was kind of interesting. I don't know if it's new or anything, but Colin Quinn, he did a stand-up special in a psychiatrist convention. I guess they probably paid him to make an appearance and he filmed it.
Oh, wow.
So he was doing all psychiatry jokes.
He's doing shrink jokes, huh?
Yeah, but it was actually pretty good.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, I watched it. It was all right. He's not bad. He's like this guy. He's talking to shrinks about all kinds of stuff. And he's like, he must have crammed before it because he was like really trying to use the lingo, and it was pretty funny. Yeah.
That's fun. I recently got around to finally watching Bad Boys for Life.
Was it good?
You know what? It's pretty good.
Pretty good?
It's pretty good. I got to tell you, it's Adil Al-Arbi Bilal Fallah. These guys.
Oh, that's why you like it.
Well, but these guys have some style.
The jig is up.
They know Adil and Bilal directing and I think they did some Miss Marvel. They are great. They know how to shoot car chase scenes, motorcycle chase scenes. Their visual style is great. There's always neon colors. The hand-to-hand combat is also good. So the choreography, the action choreography is really good. But on top of that, it's actually a pretty good story. And it's surprisingly like thoughtful of Mike and Marcus, right? And they're in their 40s, and it's essentially Lethal Weapon, where Marcus is like the family god man, and Mike still, he's not married. He's still taking risks and shit, and they're dealing with growing older. They got to work with Vanessa Hudgens, who's in it, and a couple other younger people. I thought it was very good. I think I want to watch Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die.
Oh my God.
Because it's the same guys that are doing it. And I believe some early reactions have said it's good. But something happens to Joey Pants's character, but I guess it gives it away in the fourth one. But you see, he dies for life. But you see what happens. So it's going to continue the story. But it's surprisingly, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
I heard the Bad Boys for Life was really good. So
I would check it out. It's on Hulu right now. Check it out.
I'm going to watch it.
And then the other thing I watched, it's on Max, the Iron Claw movie.
Oh, yeah? How's that?
Oh my God, this is very good. The story of the first family of wrestling, the Von Erichs. I did not know the details of this story.
Very tragic family.
Whether
wrestling.
they're cursed or they're cursed like the Kennedys. But yes, there's tragedies that happen in this. You're watching, you're like, oh, come on now. You're like, oh, get the fuck out of here. I can't, like, one after another. It's real, and it's really sad, but it's really well made. You have Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. There was 4 Von Erichs. I guess there was a 5th one. Their little brother died early. And the dad and the mom. It's very good movie of early. Ric Flair is in the movie, which is kind of fun too.
Is he really?
Yes, the character of Ric Flair.
Himself?
Oh, not actual
Ric Flair. Woo! Someone, but he does that. There's some promo time on the mic, and Kevin Von Erich has to fight him for a title shot. And it's this father. And a lot of it is you kind of blame the father for pushing them, but these guys really wanted to wrestle. They enjoyed it. But then some of these tragedies are just like bad fucking luck. Like, what the fuck? Really? Like, they can't catch a break. It's a very good movie. I recommend it. All right, that's it for this week. Next week, listener, here's your homework. We're going to be reviewing Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Another long one. Jose Ibarra mentioned we've been reviewing lots of long episodes. This movie's 2 hours and 28 minutes.
Oh my God.
It's 2:28.
I heard it was good though.
It is 85% on the tomato meter. Early social media reactions say it's fucking batshit crazy.
Well, we like a good action movie. And,
George Miller
usually puts pretty good ones out there.
He delivers.
Yeah, the more clips I see of this, like Anya Taylor-Joy looks badass, and Chris Hemsworth looks like he's having a blast.
We were supposed to get a George Miller Justice League movie.
I wish that happened. He could still make it. He's only in his 70s.
Right.
He could still make it. Give it to him. But that's what we're going to be watching. Spoiler thread will be in the Facebook group this week. Join it. Check out our website for all the links. Ruggs, where can the people find you online?
Rug Boy Show on X.
Anthony, where can the people find you this week?
Oh, shit. I don't know. You could find me jumping into watching some Furiosa in somewhere in Chicago. So
all right, it's a Flat Anthony challenge. Find him, post a picture. We'll give you a prize.
Find me, yeah. You get a prize.
The real thing is to share this show, listener. Spread around the geekery and the stupidity. I can't talk. I can't talk. This is over.
I like a good stupidity.
We're done here. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll beep you next time.
I have a PhD in stupidity.
This is going great.
Thing I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you
blew it.
And sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Jock and Nerd.